Hi everyone, my name is Jean Marie. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. You'll notice a lot of my videos are about productivity and just self-development, but I also talk about my faith. And today, God really prompted me to talk about this and share this to as much people as I can. And I already do that in my day-to-day life, but I thought it would be such a privilege to be able to share this to like a wider group of people on YouTube. And so if you're married or looking to be married and this video made it to your screen, I hope this will plant that seed in your heart that will truly help flourish your marriage the way it did mine. Let's get right into it. Before anything else, I did want to share some background into how long I've been married and how my marriage has been. So I've been married for 14 years. I've met my husband in high school. We were never officially together up until after college. And then eventually, very quickly after dating 2-3 years, we decided to get married. I was 24, he was 26 or almost 26. And so we married pretty young, at least for our generation and our group of friends, we were the first ones. And so I think that was one factor also why marriage was so hard for us over the first few years, really. Less than a year into our marriage, I got pregnant, which I wanted to be pregnant at that point. He was okay. We weren't that stable. We were okay. We were getting by. We were very young. We didn't have a lot of income. We were still pretty immature, I would say, mentally, emotionally, and most importantly, we were very immature spiritually. I don't really think we were strongly following God at that time. We went to church for sure, and I know from my journals that I reread from time to time, during that time, I was really trying to follow Jesus, but I was also living such a worldly life that I couldn't get there. And so at that point, both of us were really not that close to God. Even if we wanted to, we weren't living a life that followed Jesus. That was a very big factor. Now looking back, why our marriage was also very rocky. And while this is not the video where I share all the nitty-gritty details of all the challenges we went through as a married couple, I did just want to share that we went through a lot. Hopefully one day I will be able to share that here. But for now, I guess you'll just have to take my word for it that we went through a lot of brokenness. Him and I, we were hurt, we were in pain. I hurt him, he hurt me. We were so broken. And I realized that lately that we're not alone. I talk to a lot of couples, Christian couples, that share the same things. We realized that it wasn't just us going through that. Almost every couple I know have very similar challenges. Marriage struggles can come in different shapes and forms, but it's a very similar type of pain. And a lot of times it ends up in the same way. You end up in the same place. You may have been triggered in very different ways, but somehow we end up in this very similar place, a very painful and dark place in our marriage. What I'm going to share to you today really, really helped us, and I know it has helped a lot of people as well. And so the one prayer that really changed it for me, I can only speak for myself. It helped my husband and I, it helped our partnership. But at the end of the day, I can only share my angle. I can only share my side, right? And what I did to help our marriage. He did his own things. He had his share of pain. He had his share of efforts to make things better. But for me, what really helped me was to pray this one prayer. And it was asking God to help me see the best of my husband each and every single day. When you get to that place of wanting to give up on your marriage, you see your husband or you see your wife, all you see is pain, and all you see is that you're stuck or you don't want to do this anymore. Not realizing for many, many years you were so in love with this person. You married this person for a reason. You picked her, you picked him, and you pictured this beautiful life with this person. And all of that just goes away because of all the pain and of all the frustration in whatever challenges you're going through. And so I needed God to open my eyes and to see the best in him once again. And it was hard to pray that prayer in the beginning, right? Because maybe at that point, I didn't even want to see the best of him. Maybe at that point, I don't even think there was anything best to see anymore. But logically speaking, I knew there was something, and I was just blinded by the pain, right? And so every single morning, I start my day asking God, Lord, help me see the best in my husband today. In the middle of the day, things get frustrating or whatever, there's tension, whatever it is, I pray, Lord, help me see the best in him. Every single day I would pray that. And guess what? God changes our hearts. And when you truly ask for something and it aligns with what he wants for you and for your life, he will grant that. And you'd be surprised when you start asking for that and truly meaning it, you'll start to see the good things again. The good things in your wife, in your husband. And don't stop there. Don't stop from just seeing and realizing. Speak it out. When you see something good, when you realize something good that your husband or your wife is doing, because your eyes have been opened, speak it out. Say thank you. Show them your appreciation. And then I started speaking it out. I say, thank you so much for doing this. Even when he's not doing something at that moment, and then I just remember what he did yesterday, or I realize, all those years he's been doing this one thing that I'm so grateful for. Say it. Say, you know what, thank you. I really appreciate that, you've been doing this. Or just speak it out. Because not only will that have an effect in your heart, but it will have an effect on him or on her if it's your wife. And your spouse will now start to feel appreciated. Because at the end of the day, you can only control yourself. You can pray to God like, Lord, please help me change this person. Lord, please change my spouse, make her be more, blah, blah, blah. Sure, you can pray that. God will do whatever he wants to do and answer the prayers he wants to answer that fits his will. But at the end of the day, what are you praying for yourself, right? How are you praying to make yourself better? Focus on what you can do first before you focus on other people's flaws. And so, show gratitude. Once your eyes have been opened about the good things, you now focus on those. There will always be frustrating things. Your husband, your wife will not be all of a sudden perfect in your eyes. But because you've highlighted and focused and emphasized the goodness instead of the not so good things, your mindset also starts to shift. Your mindset starts to become, grateful and happier about this person instead of focusing on the bad things, which just ruined your mood. You were just frustrated all the time with this person. So that's that. 2 things. Number 1, pray for eyes that are open to see the best in your spouse. Pray that every day. And once you start to see and feel that and experience that, speak it out. Appreciate them. Say thank you. And you'll see it'll follow that it'll also have an effect on them. And ideally, they will also start seeing the best in you and appreciating you, because they'll be like, oh, she appreciated me. You know what? She also does things for me. That's probably going to also wake up something in them. But that's not your point. That's not your goal. Your goal is no matter what this person ends up doing, whatever, you're seeing the good in them. And that alone does wonders to your marriage. The number 1 target of the enemy are marriages, because if the marriage is broken, then the likelihood of the kids having broken marriages is high, and the likelihood of the whole family no longer going to church and no longer following Jesus is very high. Marriage is such a great target for the enemy, and so know this So you will always be on guard and be cautious. And things start to shake, you know who's responsible is trying to do this, and you don't want the enemy to win. So fight that battle, not alone, but with God. Because honestly, in my experience, I don't know how any marriage would survive without Jesus. That's the only reason why we are still together today. And we're not just together, it's such a beautiful marriage. And yes, marriages can last without God, without Jesus. It can. But I don't think it'll be a beautiful, joyful, fruitful marriage. I feel like a lot of marriages just go on dead. You know, yeah, they're together, but are they really together? Are they in love? Are they so happy to be with each other? The only way a marriage can be so much more beautiful when you align it with the Lord. Because at the end of the day, it was not a marriage and a vow between man and wife. It was between man and wife and God. And the only way you can survive beautifully is when you include that third person, which is God. And one last thing, as you know, as we went through all those struggles, the flesh, myself, my selfishness would always default to, divorce or whatever I want to do, whatever makes me happy. But because early on, even when I married young, someone told me before getting married that when you do not know what to do in a situation, don't do what you want, don't do what your husband wants, do what Jesus would want you to do. That was actually one of our foundations of why we would end up still fixing it and trying and not just making it survive, but making it beautiful, because we look to what Jesus would want for our marriage, not what each of us wanted for our marriage. Marriage is hard. I hope this touched someone out there, and I hope this inspires you. I hope this planted a seed that will flourish into a beautiful, beautiful union with each other. No marriage is too broken for Jesus to fix. So yeah, a little bit of a different video today. I was really drawn to share that today. I've been wanting to share this for a while now and finally did. So I'll be making more videos of like a Christian chit chat for wives, for moms, for families really, and what I've learned so far in living and trying to really follow Jesus and raising my kids and my family in Christ. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.